call a Lotus for today. Welcome, ladies. And we're joined by Faith, and my name is Calm. So I'm so excited to be here with you, ladies. And we're just going to have a chat around women. All right. And we are celebrating women in this month of Women's Month. Now, first things first, ladies, what is it that we call womanhood? What is it? How can we define it?
So who wants to start, girls?
I honestly, I don't know. I think it's such a really good question, but I don't think people ever ask what is womanhood, what is a woman. So I'm curious to hear from ladies. Like, what do you think?
Okay. For me, I'll start, but it's my own, maybe it could be a stupid answer, but my own view of womanhood, I think, is the stages from when a woman is born, watching a girl grow up, to a teenager and to an adult, and to be a woman, like a mother, probably married, and maybe with a career, you've grown up. So I just think it's a journey of a girl from birth until you are probably in your late 50s, to be honest. Like that's the way you say, like, I've lived my life. That's my opinion, to be honest. I'll just leave to you guys.
I mean, I think we can talk about the biological makeup of a person, right? If you are born female, that means that you are in the womanhood bracket, right? When you're born as a female and then you transition in those different stages and your body develops and you have all those different mechanisms, the ability to mother or to have a baby, and also those different experiences, even just the nature and personality of where we have women or females just having the ability to be more nurturers and mothers and caretakers. I think that's really just a spectrum of womanhood.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Totally agree with you guys. Sure, go ahead, Taste. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I would side with, let me get the name right. Our host. The name is not there. So our host. I believe it's more of the, it's more of the stages a female child goes through, from childhood through adolescent, through adulthood, through old age. That can be described as womanhood. So that's my take. Thank you.
Totally in agreement with you guys, but I'm going to take a 360 with that term.
Interesting.
Womanhood is more to do with a group of females being together, as in we are in unison, we are in unity. So together we combine and we create what we call womanhood. Like there's a secret pact that we sign and we say, we are the womanhood. That's my take.
I see.
It's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Society of women.
Coming together. Yeah. That's
I mean, I don't want to be controversial, but then if you say, if it's a group of people who make a decision and they say we are coming together and we're calling ourselves women, what are those characteristics of that group of individuals? Because then I think we are now living, and then again, now I'm going down the rabbit hole. We're living in an environment where somebody can say, I identify as a woman, or we just decided that we want to identify as women. Can anybody just identify and classify themselves as, like, we've made that decision, we've come into that pact, and now we are identifying as women, and now we are automatically women? I know
this one is a hard one, because at the moment there's a lot of things going on with the people who transgender, who change from a man to a woman and they call themselves women. So I don't know how I can put it in this context. Like, yes, I think everyone is allowed to feel how they feel. So meaning if they feel like a woman, then that means they have to be accepted as a woman, because that's how they feel. They've got their reasons. Maybe it's the feeling inside, because there's certain things that women go through. When you feel like a woman, there's certain hormones that go with that feeling. So probably they'll be experiencing those female hormones. Who knows? So yeah, Whereas the way we know it as well, how we're born, that to be identified a woman, you have to be born with a vagina. So I don't know how then it changes how that person will be feeling to end up saying that, no, I think I was born in the wrong body. So I don't know if someone can take up.
Victoria.
I think Victoria has a hand up. Maybe give her a chance to
Okay, so I wanted to
Yeah.
say that to be in a group, just like my sister said, my twin said, a group can be defined as people coming together with similar characteristics or features or ideologies or whatever. They have to have a common goal. So I don't think anybody can come together and call themselves womanhood. They have to be of a particular interest or have some features or some ideologies that match or some functions or characteristics to qualify them as one. So I don't think these transgenders or whatever they want to call themselves can be classified as same because the features might be different. Although they might say they are women or they are girls, but then they cannot be compared to us that we are all females.
Natural. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Some interesting conversation. I guess we can follow it up next session.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, we're living in an era where things have changed, and I don't know. Like you said, Victoria, we'll have to have this conversation another time. Because
it will be a long one.
There's so much to talk about. Anyways, moving right along. What do you think the role of a woman is within our society or within the family? What is the role of a woman? Do we even have roles, or has that changed too?
Okay, so from the biblical perspective, we know that the woman came in as a helpmate. So that's qualified as a role. So based on that, the society we find ourselves added more things to it. Not only as a helpmate, but they made us to be nurturers, people that can nurture something and watch it grow beautifully. Although in some cases it should have been the man's role because the Bible said the man was commanded to keep it. It's in Genesis. It says work, like the command was given to Adam to. My sister Pastor Victoria, can you help me? Where the man was asked to not tell the lie, like he was given a work to do in Genesis. Where's my Bible? Oh God. Give me a second.
Yeah, the man was given.
I like how she wants to reference like proper.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was given a charge.
Yeah.
Adam was given a charge in the Garden of Eden. To at least the garden was given to him to make it beautiful, to work on it. So that at the end, I think somewhere in Corinthians 2 or Ephesians, the man was told to present the bride that is pleasing to God. So if you look at it biblically, this role of the women playing now, we're supposed to be in the man's shoes, playing those roles, nurturing us or the children. Woo! But then as we have this instinct of mothers, we tend to do those things. But then in reality, I don't think that was what we were made to do. We're just to help the men. But then society has changed these roles and given us that, oh, the woman has to be in their home, caring for the husband, caring for the kids, cooking, washing, doing all these things. But then when you look at scripture, the man was in charge of the garden. He was supposed to work on the garden, bring food home, make things beautiful. Like the woman was just there to just enjoy and then straighten the man if he is not doing something right. So that's my point of view.
Oh, thank you, Victoria. That's amazing.
This is very interesting.
Yeah. I like how you reference the Bible. Or the start one in the beginning. Vicky, do you want to say something before I say something?
I like to agree with Victoria, but at the same time, I think that based on our genetic makeup, right? I'm not referencing the Bible. I think that the woman is designed a certain way, and because we have the capacity or the ability to give birth or to bring something forth into life, I think that also gives us the responsibility and the obligation to kind of, that's an extension of our being, right? So if I'm giving birth or if I'm creating something, it means that by nature, I'm responsible somewhat for it. So I think that we are designed by default to be caretakers and to be nurturers and to have that mothering. And I think you have a lot of instances where people refer to women as the earth, because then we bring forth life. And so as the earth, the man is there to help tend the garden, if I use the scripture, to make sure that the earth is taken care of, is watered, you put fertilizers, it's in good condition to produce the results that are supposed to be produced. So we and men are in collaboration, and we're supposed to be in a partnership where the man understands that he's supposed to pour into us so that we are able to bring forth those results. So even with the biological nature where we have that intercourse or that intimacy, the man pours into us the seed, and then we carry the seed, and then that seed brings forth a baby. So I think that this has to be that understanding of what is the relationship and how much of the man is supposed to pour into us and how he's supposed to take care of us, which is what Victoria was saying, that he's supposed to tend the garden. This responsibility was to take care of the garden, to make sure that the garden is producing fruit. So women need to be taken care of so that they are able to do their role of producing things.
Amazing.
Totally with you both. You have put it in a way that is simple and we can understand. I'm in agreement.
Okay.
Do you have anything to say?
For me, I'm going to say it another way, but very similar to what they're saying. I think a woman is someone who represents nurturing, someone who God gave an intuition. Women, they sort of like, they have that feeling to see something that maybe will cause problems, like in the family, you're given that power by God to see maybe that this is danger. So we use that as well to run through life. So I think like what Vicky said, women have to be in a certain environment where they can be themselves, nurture, show love to the family, cook for the family, take care of the family. But then again, nowadays, because of this new generation, sort of like things have changed a lot. I remember when my parents got married, my mom had to stay at home, take care of us, and do everything in the house. The dad would just go to work, give the woman money, and then life goes on like that. But then nowadays, women have to take care, have to give birth, and then also work, bring an income to the family. So meaning that means these men that we have nowadays, they already know this new generation, my woman has to work as well. So, but then I want to add on to what Victoria said, when a woman is working, I think it's just helping, not saying that she will have to take all the responsibilities. That's my own point of view. You are just helping your husband. Where she probably is the main provider, you're getting is just supporting him a little to make life better. Not that I'm not acknowledging other families whereby the woman is the main breadwinner. Every setup is different, so there's nothing wrong, whatever suits anyone. But in my own point of view, I'll say the money that the woman earns is actually a money that is just to help. Make the family better, just give the woman something to do, career. But I feel like as well, the woman should have time to take care of the kids, the home. And if let's say you are married into a family, a woman is seen as someone who builds. When you join a family in marriage, be seen as someone who comes and builds in that family. You're not coming to destroy or talk too much and cause confusion. You're coming to make things better, in that family. So even in the community, when you see young kids, you see them as your children, not just you love your own children, you can love kids outside your own children. So I think that's the role of a woman in a community. When you see children, they're all your children. If you see kids who are less privileged, it's your role to help them as well. So I feel like a woman represents that motherly nature, soft nature, around people. Be kind and nice, be soft. For me, I think that's the role of a woman. Yeah.
Not to be controversial, I'm sorry. I just wanted to really unpack that whole soft nature. What does it even mean? I mean, that's a story for another day. But I think that there's also that assumption or that ideology that women are supposed to be soft. And I say that word in quotation. What does it mean? That expectation that women are supposed to take care of, that expectation and assumption that women are supposed to take on that mothering role. What does it entail, and how much does it impact or affect women's ability to really just be in their own bodies? Because I think that there's a spectrum of women where we have women who are not, again, meeting the standards of softness, and sometimes those women are attacked and they are being defined as, oh, this is not the right woman, this is not marriage material, this is not like a good woman because she's not soft, she's not gentle, she's not submissive. But what does all that mean, and what is the expectation, and what is the realistic expectation versus a woman should be allowed to be who and what she wants to be or what she is, right?
Okay, I think those is a very great what you said, and it's the next questions I think is coming up on our conversation. But all I can say, you are very right, because sometimes when you generalize, may cause confusion. Meaning being soft as well, it doesn't mean that you just have to let everyone walk over you or be prone to abuse or anything, be vulnerable to abuse because, oh, you have to be soft, you are forced to be soft. I believe that we'll get to that, but I believe that a woman has to be able to speak out. Just because you are soft, you're given that motherly role, it doesn't mean that people should just walk over you, get abused by people, or because you can't speak out. So I think we get into it anyway. Just maybe our moderator to roll on to the next question. I think it's gonna cover that, and we go deeper a little on that.
Definitely. As you were speaking, it made me think of the statement that it takes a village to raise a child, you know, and there's so many things that are happening today. You know, it just yesterday we're having a conversation with children. I'm quite involved with children, and I asked the question, how come you didn't greet that lady? You know, when we were growing up, we were told it's a must to greet people. And this child said, what if that person is a kidnapper? Why should I entertain conversation with them? You know? And in a way, you understand where the child is coming from, but at the same time, you're thinking, have we become so focused on the negative more than the positive? You mean as a woman, you know, if Vicky, you were seen wearing a very short skirt by someone at church, they were going to ask you, where do you think you're going dressed like that? Are you coming to the house of the Lord, or you're going elsewhere? But here this child is saying, I'm free to express however I want to express myself. So I think there's so much to unpack from just the role that society expects on women, which brings us to the next question. Do we have pressure from society as how we should behave or act? Are there any expectations that were given by society as to how a woman should carry herself, the way she should talk, the way she should present herself? Do we have pressure from society?
I'll jump on it. I think we definitely have a lot of pressure, and I will speak for myself and I speak for my experiences as somebody who was born in Kenya or whatever and grew up in Zimbabwe and as an African woman. There's an expectation that I'm supposed to behave in a submissive way where I let somebody take the lead and make decisions for me, right? I'm supposed to be a certain kind of softness, which is more docile. Like I can't be aggressive in terms of, even when it comes to engagement and conversation, I should be careful about the way that I speak to people. I should be careful about the spaces that I allow myself to be in. I should be careful about the way that I present myself in terms of how I dress myself, right? And how I engage with the outside world. And I think that that pressure really takes us out of who am I as an individual? How do I feel about the things that I want to do for myself and the things that I want to pursue? And I think sometimes it puts a glass ceiling on our ability to really chase after the things that we want to chase after, because there's that expectation that at a certain age, I'm supposed to have a husband, I'm supposed to have kids, I'm supposed to be in a home. If all those things have not been accomplished, then it means that I have failed to be the epitome of a woman is defined by society. So I think that there's just a lot of expectation and pressure on people just looking at women and asking for more. Like there's always something that people are asking for from women. Produce this, produce that, give us this, take care of. You're not speaking in gentleness. You're not being submissive. You're not being respectful. You're not dressing appropriately. You're like putting too much makeup. You're like wearing a wig. You're like, it's as if people are always waiting to find something wrong with what decisions women are making. So it's like there's never something that you do right. I think there has to be a balance where people, first of all, see women as human beings beyond gender, right? The gender defines and separates us from men. But first of all, before anything else, I'm a human being and I should be allowed to make choices and decisions for myself as a human being, not as a woman. Being a woman should not be what defines me. It's just a characteristic that I have, right? But it has nothing to do with anything. I should be allowed to chase after. I should be allowed to pursue. I should be allowed to explore. I should be allowed to feel. I should be allowed to have emotions. I should be allowed to argue. That's what I'm thinking.
Totally. I agree with you, Vicky. However, I have a question with regards to everything that you have said. Nowadays, we are expressing ourselves more. Do you think that with the way we have become so open, with the way we have become ourselves, do you think that we have kind of invited the pressure on ourselves?
That's a really good question. Whilst I think about it, I do want to give the opportunity, to Vicky, Victoria, my namesake, and Faye to really jump on this as well. I'm gonna think about it. Have we invited the pressure? That's a really good question. Yeah, I'm really thinking about it.
Right. So I think the pressure has always been there, despite what we have contributed to it. Because, as my sister said, we are supposed to be treated first as humans before anything else. Because the olden days, how things used to be, it's not the same now. So even if you say a woman should dress a certain way, how about when you come to America, the corporate world, where you're supposed to be smart, you have to do certain things. So your way of life would definitely change. So then what happens to it? Does it mean you have lost your womanhood, or you have become a different gender or something? No. But then there's so much pressure. Even if you marry right from the start, from your wedding day, when you go honeymoon, don't be lazy. Make sure you receive everything, and then you get pregnant. And be monitoring you. It's too much stress.
Spirits.
Give birth. When you are lucky and you give birth, then the next one, when is the rest coming? They are waiting for their siblings. So it's like always, constantly, there is something a woman has to be doing. And I think it's not fair, because in as much as these standards are there, God created us individually and we have our individual assignments on earth. So probably you as a family, as a society, or as a nation, what you're expecting from me might be different from my assignments on earth. And that is why some of these deviant behaviors going on the social media and everywhere has become rampant, because the expectations for people have become so much. There's this Nigerian guy, I don't know whether you saw the wedding recently. I think, what's his name? Something
Moses, please.
Bliss. And then the wife is from Ghana. They are saying, oh, the wife is decent, look at the way. Then the next minute, there's another group saying, oh, too much simplicity. Even the wedding dress is too simple. You don't know.
It was just too much.
Recommending that women should be dressing decently like Mrs. Bliss' wife. Another party say, oh, too much simplicity. Too much of everything is. So you see, if you want to follow the expectations of people or hear what you would deviate. And at the end of the day, people go through mental issues because of some of these expectations. Yeah.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, you girls are right. There's a lot of pressure. I remember myself, Calm, you said something about dress code, like a church. I remember when I was growing up as a teenager, I used to love wearing trousers, and my palazzo, they're called palazzos. So I didn't understand, like when I used to go to church wearing them, and then everyone would be looking at me that, they'll call me by surname, that daughter of that family wears trousers to church, she's very naughty. But I don't know, I was stubborn. I told myself that it's all about my heart. It's not about what I wear. I should be free to wear anything. I don't know where I got the guts to wear the trousers. So people talk about me, I'll just hear rumors, good, hey, she wears trousers. But looking back now, I'm here 20 years later. People can wear trousers in church now in Zimbabwe. People can wear all that, what they used to. So I was seen as like a naughty girl because I was wearing trousers in church, but I didn't care. I said, I know myself, I'm a decent girl, I'm not doing all sorts. But then how they would judge you because of just wearing trousers. So I understand what you said. And then I grew up, obviously I moved to the UK and all that. Obvious, there was pressure. I remember before I even left, there was already pressure how they look at girls at church. If you are 22, 23, you're still not settled, or you don't have a man asking for a hand in marriage, they start to say, how come she's not getting married? Something is wrong with her. Something is wrong with her. How come other girls her age are married and she's not married? They start to look at you in the other eye, especially when your age mates are getting married and all that, So yeah, it's too much pressure. Okay, finally you get married. They're starting to look at you 1 month, 2 months later, like what Victoria said. Is she expecting now? Is she pregnant? Oh, what's wrong with her? It's been a year since they got married. How come she's not pregnant? So all these things happen, and I'm talking about church environment, just church environment when I was growing up. All these things were happening. So I think, yeah, definitely women have got a lot of pressure. And also nowadays with the new generation, you get married, you've got a career, your friends, everyone's doing so well, careers and all that. After having babies again, people are looking at you, is she gone back to work? No, she's gonna get broke. Why is she depending on her man? You can't trust the men, the men can just leave you disappointed. Yes, because we saw how many women in the past went through abuse because of depending on a man financially from everything. So women now, they just want to have their own income. So that can create pressure as well. Because after having a baby, you need time to heal, sit down and relax. You need to be in that environment whereby you relax a bit. But due to pressure as well, women are forced to go back to make money straight away, leave your kids with maids because you have to live a certain standard. And the income that the man is making is not enough. I just need to go and work. So yeah, the pressures on women is just too much. One, you want to be yourself. One, you want to take care of the kids. You want to be close to your kids. But career is calling you there. You want to make money. You want to progress like other people. You don't want to fall behind. So yeah, it's just crazy, like, yeah. It's crazy, and trying to prove a point that yes, I've got my own income, I'm independent. So those pressures, if you're not doing it for the right mindset, it's good to have your own income. But if you're doing it under pressure, welcome to social media. Now we're seeing a lot of people, women, they look beautiful, they filter, but people saying, oh, you're too much filtering. Yeah, but women want to feel beautiful. I don't know if there's anything wrong in filtering pictures. I don't know. Or does this mean that we are not happy with ourselves? I don't know. Too much the bam bam. Now a lot of people are doing BBL. I don't know, like, what's going on in this world. Like now what I'm seeing on social media, BBL everywhere. So are we now conditioned that to be normal, you have to have big bum? That's why men will like you like that with big bum.
Big nyash.
So yeah, big nyash, they call it nyash. So yeah, I think, yeah, it's too much pressure. And then when you show your picture with a flat bum, they now say, oh, this one, well, what happened to the bum? They push it in, whatever. You see the comments on social media, like, so it's so disturbing, it's so disturbing. And you have to bleach, you have to look light a certain way, the pressures and all that. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with this generation, so something is wrong somewhere. From my own opinion.
I think really it boils down to, I think one of the things that Victoria said, where it's understanding your assignment. I think don't know themselves enough to be confident in saying, this is who I am, this is the path that has been chosen for me, and I'm going to walk my path without being swayed or diverted by all these things. There's so much noise around us, especially when we talk about social media, right? There's so many people that are preaching their own gospel and that are trying to get people to jump on their wagon. So if you don't know yourself and you don't understand your assignment and you don't understand your purpose, you will continuously live according to somebody else's timeline. You continuously try to live according to somebody else's purpose and plan, and you will never be able to fully accept and embrace your path and who you are, and own that with confidence. Whatever happens and whatever comes at you as you live in this world, like Victoria was saying, you come from Ghana, you come to the US, and then there's also all this pressure and all these things that are happening around you. Do you change yourself to fit the environment, or you continue to live in the environment and exist as yourself? I think we need a level of confidence and acceptance of self, and understanding and knowing of self and purpose, for us to continue to exist in this world and be able to quieten all the noise around us and the pressures that come left, right, and center.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Victoria. You've literally summed up our next question, which is, what do you see as role model behavior in a woman? You have said it so well, because I am for, if you want to be a role model, you have to know who you are. You can't say that you want to be a role model for someone, yet one moment the trend is bleaching skin, you bleach. Next trend, BBL, you are there. Next trend, short hair, you are there. Next trend, weave, you are there. Wig, you are there. If it's the way people speak, you've also changed the way you speak. You're always going with the wind. So if you know who you are as an individual, it's easier for people to say, all right, we can hold you accountable for A, B, C, and D. And it's easier for someone to follow you. If yourself, you have made that conscious decision and you have transformed your way of thinking and you are set in your ways, you stand firm in what you believe in, then definitely you can become a role model. That becomes role model behavior.
Our clip is gonna cut in
and ask. I don't want to be that girl who says things about other women and judges other women, but I think as women, we have to be accountable and responsible for how we behave in the decisions and the choices that we make. I'm not responsible for how somebody treats me. I'm not responsible for the choices and the decisions that they're going to make, but I'm responsible for myself, how I show up, how I protect myself, and how I engage in situations where I feel this is not a healthy environment for me. I have to get the courage to step out of that situation.
Well said, well said.
Definitely. You have put it across the way that it should be. And as even as we're having this discussion, it's meant to benefit all of us, as women. Hence why I came across with the definition of coming together as a group and agreeing. We are here to help each other out. We are our sisters' keepers, in as much as we want to say, oh no, how could he have done that to her? But at the same time, we're supposed to sit back and evaluate, what could I have done better? What did I ignore that led us to where we are now? Yeah, definitely.
Victoria, any thoughts?
Miss Taste, you're quiet.
I'm soaking all those wisdom. Yeah, I've not watched this season of Love is Blind, so I was lost. So I wanted to just get the whole concept of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I agree with whatever you guys have said. We have to know what is right for us, despite the circumstance, because sometimes we only want to be in the fairy tale. We want to ignore the red flags, the signs, because you would see it and then you would ignore it and think, oh, he will change. Okay, he will change. Let me give him space. Let him give him time. He will change. But he wouldn't. And then we are faced with reality, and then we would cry. But deep down, whilst you are crying, you know yourself that you knew at a point in time that either this wouldn't work or there's a trouble coming. But then,
yes,
yeah, women, sometimes we want to be like, we can fix it. It's this one. No, it will be fine. But it's not fine. So I think we have to be true to ourselves as well. Sometimes my pastor will tell you that the best advice is self-advice. You sit yourself down and you ask yourself some questions. You talk to yourself. What is it that you are doing that maybe the past relationships haven't been successful? probably the fault is not all about the men. Sometimes you have to do an introspective reflection and see things that you have to change or modify, and then you'll be good. Yeah, so that's my 2 cents.
And also, I think that
Definitely.
yes, I think sometimes there's this idea of falling in love with the picture, falling in love with this looks so good, this is so brilliant. Imagine what I could do if I'm in the situation with this guy. He's going to do all these amazing things for me. He has access to all these things. And you fall in love with the idea of being with this person and whatever is going to come with it, and how other people are going to look at you as a power couple and be like, oh my God, I can't believe she's dating this guy. He's so handsome, right? You fall in love with that idea of this is the image that we're going to portray, and people are going to be so besotted with us and so jealous. But at the end of the day, the picture looks good, but the contents, like you open the, and then the contents is just not there. There's nothing to work with. Let don't fall in love with the picture. Fall in love with things. Understand what are the foundations of making a relationship work. What are the foundations and key things that I should look for in a partner. Ignore the things, the idea of having the pause and that blind idea of dating somebody helps you, because then you're dating and falling in love with a person in their true essence, their character, their personality, how they are, how they think about things, their values. All those things are more important than whatever a person has and whatever a person looks like. If you build a relationship based on a picture, then the picture is going to deceive you.
Yeah, so I have this story to back up. It's not a story, it's a real life situation. One of our friends told us that he has not been successful with relationship. Would like the idea. So you don't just write people off because they don't like to go out or do certain things.
But Vicky, let me correct you in that, I've seen couples whereby the man is more outgoing, but the woman likes to keep in, she's an introvert. And then those people, life becomes really hard because the man wants to be around people, or probably want people to come there in the house, do barbecues, have drinks, but the woman likes to keep to herself. I've seen marriages like that. So it becomes a problem because the man gets bored. Then the woman wants the man to just stay at home with him. They do nothing all the time. They're just together. But the man says, I want to be out there. I want people to come to our house. So sometimes I think it's important to match a bit, because it will cause unhappiness in the marriage, because the other one feels trapped inside, bored in the house, introvert versus extrovert. So sometimes I see it, in marriage is a problem, when you clash in that area. That's why you find that sometimes when the man forces, let's say you force your woman to bring in people to the house, the woman gets moody, ignoring guests, like not treating people, looking moody. It's because there's a mismatch in the energy. The other one don't want people, the other one wants people. And then you see the man being nice, trying to host people, or the other way around. The woman wants people to come to the house, the man is moody. The man goes and sleep upstairs and leaves the guests there because
don't want any noise.
Don't want noise, too much noise. Who are these people in my house making noise? So yes, I think it's very important for people to match most of the things. It can be 100%, but at least maybe 60, 70%. Otherwise, life will be so miserable if you don't match in those areas. Yeah.
It's true. We'll be fine. Get everything.
I've seen couples whereby even like the man is complaining, why did you bring in visitors? Food is finishing. They're finishing all our food. All those things. Yeah. All the
I like
finish.
People. My husband, he when he sees people, then he becomes very uncomfortable.
Yeah. So you see all those things.
I did a surprise party for him. He looked at me and said to me, I said, this will not go well. So why did you invite so many people? You could have invited 3 people. I said, birthday party for 3 people.
I know this kind of life, it's a bit like tricky sometimes, but you just meet halfway. The man knows you're like
compromise.
That. You meet halfway. Say, let's just tolerate, some things can be fixed. I think in life it's important to tolerate and to compromise. Otherwise you'll be alone for life.
Yeah, it's true.
If you don't
and
compromise.
I think one thing that I can kind of just, for women or for the young men who are really thinking about dating and relationships, I think also just being able to recognize that you don't marry for today, and you also don't date for today. So such a perfect match for you now and today. You like to go out, you like the same things, but you also have to understand that you are going to evolve and you're going to change, and life. So if you marry because today we're such a good match and we all like going out and drinking.
Yes, things
do
change.
That time will come, even with the kids, you won't have time to go out.
Yes,
Like, I'm
things
not
change.
showing you
The future.
Priorities change as well with time.
Of course.
Priorities change. Yeah,
Concept-
start
You have
thinking about
kids and they are
music.
disturbing you, you'll be thinking about going out.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
wouldn't.
Very
Yeah.
true. That very
not
true.
sure. Then you're thinking, is he responsible? He likes going out all the time. Can he work? Can he provide? Can be he be a father? Can he be a husband? But you married
Yeah.
because it was so exciting because he could take you out. You'd be all of drinking and doing all sorts of things. But now you a certain way, and he's not able to shift and adjust it. So it's okay to meet somebody who's not necessarily a perfect match and who is not necessarily mirroring your behaviors and actions and attitude. You need a balance where you are going to balance each other out. It can't be husband and both love.
They said the opposite attracts. So we meet halfway.
Yeah. Miss
It's
Calm, do you have anything to say? Sorry, overridden.
He's just enjoying it.
No, I mean, it has been great conversation. We've managed to tackle like all the questions and it has just been flowing. I'm glad we got to, talk. And I hope that whoever comes across this recording will be helped. I think one thing that we are seriously lacking as as a society as a whole is just people who tell us the truth in love. We like to nowadays we want to have everything in control. We want to be in control. We are set in the ways that we think. You want, okay, fine, by 25 I must have the house, I must have the car, I must have the man. This is how it's supposed to go, and we don't have that room to say, okay, fine, I'm allowed to fail, I'm allowed not to be in that relationship, I'm allowed not to be in that marriage. And just like what my sister Tasty was saying, our assignments are different. Just understanding that the assignment is different and seeing other people, who also just tell you, when I was your age, I thought I was going to do this, but it didn't work that way. It's very uplifting and you realize that you are not alone. Hence why I will still stick with my definition of womanhood. Yeah. Mm. Definitely.
Yeah.
No, thank you so
Well
much.
said,
It
guys.
has been an
Like that's wonderful.
yeah.
That's
Sorry,
wonderful.
Vicky, were you trying to say something?
No, I was just saying this has been great. I wasn't saying anything. I was just saying this has been great. And I think to your point, I think what is also lacking is just having the opportunity to see people having a conversation, a just natural conversation, and understanding people's beliefs and ideas and values and how they see the world and how they experience the world are going to be different. So there's no one size fits all. You cannot build your life around this is the right way, this is the formula that's going to get me from point A to point B and to get me to be successful. So being able to understand that I I think this is the summary that was said by Victoria, that the assignment is different, the timelines are different. So I could be 100 years old or 50 years old and not married. That doesn't mean that I failed. Like being able to understand what is my pathway, what is my timeline, what is my purpose, what is my calling, and how do I work and walk in that is myself without feeling the pressure that everybody else has done this, everybody else is doing this, and I'm so behind and I'm failing and I'm missing out and I'm missing out.
Well said, Vicky. No, that's amazing. And it goes to the point, like, stay true to yourself. We are unique. There's no one else like you. Live your journey, live your purpose. Just because Susan next door married at 24, it doesn't mean you should be married at 24. You're very right, Vicky. And as older sisters, like what Calm said, it makes sense in those areas to say, we're teaching young girls to say, no pressure, girls, no pressure. Take your time. It's better to take your time than just succumb to pressure and marry the wrong person. 2 years down the line, again, you hide away because the marriage is not working. You are being abused or something has gone wrong. Now, that wedding that was shown on social media, you have to hide away, so it's not good. We want people to marry for the right reasons, and we see our sisters happy, you know, like, yeah. So we are here. That's our purpose, to be talking all these things to help our fellow sisters. We all make mistakes. There's no one who's perfect. We own up to our mistakes. But what is important is to learn from them, grow, you know, forgive ourselves. Don't say because I've made the mistake, I can't correct it. No, you rise up again and keep going. You know, don't give up. There's no one who's perfect. Don't say, oh, because I made a mistake now, everything is messed up. No, you can rise again and keep going, keep pushing. You know, yeah. Sometimes if it's not because of advice, sometimes experience is the best teacher as well. You know, sometimes people have to go experience certain things to learn something. Yeah, so yeah, everyone's got a story to tell, you know, about the journey of this womanhood. We've all been through a lot, and yeah. But all I can say is that everything happens for a reason, and yeah. Me, all I can say, I don't judge in my life. I don't judge, you know, women. I always like believe that everyone's their own journey, you know. And what I admire about young girls nowadays, I admire young girls who work very hard, you know, who don't succumb to pressure, just love themselves the way they are, love their skin color, don't try to change their skin color, you know, just confident the way they look. Yeah, I just admire that in young women. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's all I can say for today. I don't know if anyone has to add anything. Calm, I think you have something to say. That's my.
Oh, no, I'm leaving the Miss Tasty. Are we done?
No, Tessie has got something to say. Definitely, that's my.
No, I've exhausted all. Yeah. But
Thank you
then
so
one
much.
thing that makes, I
Thank
think as women, we should find the things that makes us whole and happy in spite of
Yeah.
everybody else. We shouldn't depend our happiness on people, even on our spouses. We should find things that makes us whole, like being happy yourself. So for me, it's like me having a me time watching movies or listening to songs or being on social media, like looking at things and laughing. That gives me happiness. Those things, like, so even if I'm going through a tough time, I just have to position myself in a place where I would be happy. I go to my happy place. So my happiness is not dependent on somebody, like, oh, I'm waiting for this person to talk to me before I get happy. I'm waiting for this person to gift me this before. If you give me fine, I've conditioned myself to be like, my policy is, if you don't give it to me, God will give it to me. If you don't make me happy, God will. Like, it's not that I'm being religious now or being anything, but then that's my state. Whatever is happening around me, I know probably God has a hand in it. Probably it's happening this way because God has a better plan. Or probably I'm not seeing everything right later on everything. So as women, we can also position ourselves like that. Other than that, all our life it will be centered around people. What is this person saying about my marriage? What is this person saying about my lifestyle? And then you'll be pressured. And then you would, and mental health nowadays is dangerous. So we need to take care of ourselves and then know that everything will be fine. Yeah.
Amen. And beautifully said.
Amen. You need to give offering for that.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. We'll be in touch.
Nice. It's been nice. Thank you so much. Been nice. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Vicky, bye.
Bye. I haven't seen you in a while. When am I seeing you?
Yes.